right, hello everybody, and welcome to the History Day Insider Tips National Contest episode. So thank you so much everyone for joining us. My name is Vania Boland and I'm the State Coordinator for the National History Day in Iowa program. If you have any questions about tonight's webinar, or I didn't cover a section, or you feel more comfortable contacting me privately, please make sure to jot down my email right here or my phone number. You can also find more information about National History Day and details about the national contest at iowaculture.gov/NHD. So tonight we're going to be going over the national contest, which is at the University of Maryland College Park, and the dates this year are June 9th through the 13th. I will also be attending. We will be having an assistant coordinator attend, and we will be staying in the dorms with Team Iowa. So tonight we're going to go over a couple things about the national contest, including the schedule. We're going to talk about important paperwork, but I first want to introduce Andrew Vogie, who is a former National History Day in Iowa participant, and he has also attended as a staff member with National History Day in Iowa. So Andrew, if you can say hello, introduce yourself, give us some detail about your experience with National History Day, specifically the national contest, and if you can give a little bit of advice.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Andrew. I was fortunate enough to compete in National History Day from when I was in 6th grade all the way up until I graduated high school as a senior. I went to nationals 5 times, once in 7th grade in junior division, and then all 4 years of high school. So I went to nationals a lot of times as a competitor, but then also had the opportunity to go as an assistant coordinator with Vania a number of times, 4 times with the state of Iowa. So I know the national contest like the back of my hand. I had an amazing experiences at nationals. It's by far one of my favorite weeks of the year in June. And what I really liked about nationals is this opportunity both to compete again, the opportunity to take my project and see how much better I could make it, how much more knowledge I could acquire, and how much more clear I could make my arguments, but then also the opportunity to present my project in a place that is chock full of amazing, rich history. And so it was always so fantastic to sort of have this pinnacle journey, if you will, to come to nationals and to try and find my topic somewhere in DC. And so I've really enjoyed all of the different experiences that I've had at nationals, specifically both running around the University of Maryland College Park, but then also getting to run around DC itself. And so I'm really excited to share my experiences and some of my insider tips about how to best navigate the contest.
Thank you so much, Andrew. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So tonight we're going to go over the national contest registration. We're going to discuss your contest fees. We're also going to touch base on some important paperwork for your parents. We're also going to go over Team Iowa's schedule and the activities we have prepared. So feel free to come back and watch the recorded version of this webinar to go over the schedule and make sure you've packed everything that you need. Also, lastly, we're going to talk about judging and how to prepare for that judging. Just as a reminder, please make sure to download the contest registration instructions. We have the website right here. There is a student version and a teacher instructions on that website. So there are instructions for everyone, but there's more details for student and teachers specifically on this web page. So please make sure before you register that you're downloading this information. I've already had a couple questions that were in the registration material. So please make sure you're downloading that information. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, national contest registration. First, we're downloading that information, making sure we have all the steps laid out in front of us. All students attending must register separately, not in a group. So, at state, we had one person in the group register for the entire group. That's not how you do it with nationals. Each student who is planning to attend must register separately because they want information on your lodging, your meal plans, specific information about you and your parents, including your medical forms. So make sure you're registering separately. All teachers must register. Please indicate if you're coming to the contest or not. So even if you're not coming to the contest, teachers, we still need you to register because your students will be linking to you in the registration process. And you'll also be able to get more information about the contest, more information about National History Day in 2020, and they'll be able to send you additional waivers or information on your students' projects. So please make sure to register. One last thing, all students in the group entry must register, even if a member is unable to attend. So if there's 5 people in your group and one of them has a family vacation and they can't come with, in order to keep their name on the project and to stay involved, they will need to register. If they're not coming to the contest, that's perfectly fine. They will ask you if you are not attending once you register, or I will also put on a note that that group member is not attending. But in order to make sure that student's name is still on the project, you need to make sure everybody in your group registers. Since Iowa uses Google Sheets back here at home and the national contest has their own system, if you have any concerns or questions about registering, or you have glitches or something doesn't work right, please make sure to email registration@nhd.org, or you can call the phone number on the screen below. It's perfectly fine if you reach out to me, but what will happen is I'll have to redirect you to nationals. So don't want to play the middleman if you don't have to, so feel free to reach out to registration@nhd.org if you have questions or concerns about that. All right, second part, in registration, they're going to ask you to fill out the medical information sheet. So every student registering for nationals must complete this information, regardless of whether he or she is staying on campus. So if you're staying at a hotel, we still need your parents to sign the medical information form. You'll be required to complete the medical information as a part of your online registration, where a parent or guardian must also agree to the authorization. So parents who are on this webinar right now or listening to the recorded version, the requested information includes medical conditions, medications, your child's doctor, and medical insurance. So I strongly recommend that you have this information ready and in front of you before you register. It's just going to make the process much more simpler. I'm able to go in and see who's registered and who has not. I'm also able to see who has not filled out the medical form. So this is due May 14th. Just like registration is. I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if I don't see that you have filled out that form, I'm going to be sending you an email. So please make sure just to get that done for me so that you're able to compete at nationals. The registration fee. It's a little different this year. Students are $150, teachers are $60. However, all National History Day in Iowa students and teachers, your registration fees are covered by National History Day in Iowa. This has been handled before registration link was open to us. So when you go in and you register for the contest and you go into your checkout process, there will be a coupon code applied to your registration fee. If you don't see the coupon code applied and it's still asking you to pay for it, that means that for some reason your profile is not linked to the Iowa affiliate. So you'll just need to go to My Profile, click on Basic Information, look at the bottom of the page and make sure that you have selected Iowa as your affiliate. And if you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to National. They can make that adjustment for you. Also, if they do end up charging you or anything like that, please just send me a screenshot and we can get that handled. National contest housing and meals. So one of the best things on campus. Team Iowa will be staying in the dorms on campus, but this is not required. So I highly encourage kids to stay on campus because it's a ton of fun, and I'm sure Andrew can speak to this from his experience. But if you and your family would like to stay in a hotel, that's perfectly fine. When we go over the schedule, I'll just point out reminders of activities that if you're staying at a hotel, you'll need to come back on campus for. I will be organizing the Iowa rooms. So make sure when you register, if you want to have a roommate or you want to room with someone specific, make sure to enter their first and last name. And when you walk through that process of the campus housing and meal packages, it's a part of the options that you can select. They're going to ask you to put in a roommate request. So I get an Excel spreadsheet of all your names and the roommates that you have requested, and I'll pair you in a room. The main reason why I do this is to make sure that Team Iowa stays on one whole floor. Otherwise, we might be spread out throughout the campus, and that wouldn't be as much fun. Iowa wants to party together on the same 2 floors. So make sure to request a roommate. I also put the link down here of where that information for contest lodging is. So if you want to take a look at the different lodging and meal plans before you register so you can look at pricing, there are specific dates with each lodging and meal package. So for example, meal package 1, that's check-in on Saturday, June 8th, and checkout is June 13th. So they vary by the different days that you're going to stay on campus. Andrew, do you have any advice about the registration process or requesting a roommate or anything that might make this process a little bit easier, or any advice to share?
Yeah, the registration process can be kind of daunting, but I'll reiterate what Vania said. They do a pretty good job of laying out all of the steps that you need to do in the registration materials. I also suggest starting that registration process sooner rather than later, because Nationals is pretty strict about the registration deadline. And so make sure that you spend ample time going through that, because if, for example, if the coupon code isn't applied, or if you want to get a roommate, that's stuff that you want to tie up now, begin that process now, because the deadline approaches pretty quickly. I will totally make a plug to stay on campus in the dorms. I know probably for some parents, you graduated from college, you no longer want to have to stay in dorms. That being said, I do think that we have a lot of fun at Team Iowa. It's a great opportunity for those that are competing to be able to hang out, specifically meet other people across the Iowa contingent, but also the best part of staying in the dorms is the convenience of being right on campus, because you're right there when you need to get, for example, I remember my senior year when we were at Nationals, I totally forgot our bibliography and process paper in the dorm, and so it was just so easy to be able to run back and grab that and then still get there to my judging time on time, rather than if I had forgotten it at the hotel, which is potentially anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes away. And so the dorms is great because you're just centrally located on campus. There are a lot of fun things to do on campus, but also there are super easy ways to get downtown from being on campus. There's a free NHD shuttle bus that runs from campus to the metro stop that can get you on the metro all the way downtown. And those are things that are provided by History Day, versus when you do stay off campus at a hotel, you may not be closer to the metro, you may not be near a shuttle that gets you there. That being said, staying off campus is totally not a problem and is not looked down upon either. But I will say that staying in the dorms is super easy. Also, all of the dorms are air conditioned. So it used to be, one time when I went to Nationals, the dorms were not air conditioned. So that was not as much fun. That being said, they all are air conditioned, and the food in the dorms is actually pretty good. I really like the food on campus. And so it's a great way to build camaraderie, but also just to be centrally located. So I definitely encourage people to stay on campus if they can.
All right, so lastly, I just want to make sure everyone has these due dates on their calendars. So registration will close promptly at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, May 14th. If you miss that registration deadline, there is a $50 late fee that will be assessed for all registrants, and it increases by each day that you miss. So please make sure you register on time. And all fees, dorm packages, meal plans, those have to be paid by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, May 14th. The same for papers and websites. Those projects are due 11:59, Tuesday, May 14th. Papers, your paper and annotated bibliography must be uploaded by that registration deadline. Websites, those are going to be locked for judging beginning 11:59, Tuesday, May 14th. So if you have any questions about your websites or papers, please get those into me immediately. And it looks like we do have a question. Do you know what dorm Iowa will be staying in? Unfortunately, not yet. I find out after registration closes, because they need to get all that information and how many rooms we need. So I won't find out until after registration closes. Once I do, I'm happy to email that out. And I usually like to send the map, or at least I will this time, so parents, that can help you with some planning. I know some parents usually get a rental vehicle, or they just want to look at parking options. So we'll make sure to send that out to you. Papers can either be uploaded or sent, not both. If you are in the paper category, you will need to submit your paper and annotated bibliography electronically by uploading the document within the registration, and you will need to mail in 4 copies. That right there is why it's important to read the full registration, because there's a lot of detail. So I want to reiterate, you're going to submit your paper electronically and mail 4 copies. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know.
Do the 4 copies have to be postmarked by the 13th or whenever the deadline is, or is it
Yes.
They have to in the national office at that day?
It needs to be in the office May 14th.
Okay, so they have to send it in a little sooner than that day.
Yeah, because those papers they have to send out to judges. At state, we do it all electronically, but I do think there are some judges that prefer to have a hard copy. So yes, it needs to be submitted electronically and mailed in. Once again, if you had any glitches or it's charging you for something for the registration fee that Iowa is covering, please make sure to reach out to registration@nhd.org. They can get that adjusted for you. And important paperwork. I've had quite a few of these come in, but just wanted to put this in the webinar. Make sure to complete the participation waiver by tomorrow at the end of the day or around 4:30. Please get that to me. We want to make sure we know who is coming. And this waiver covers you for the week. So please make sure to jump onto iowaculture.gov, go to the National History Day National Contest section. You can either download it, fill it out, fax it to me, or mail it to me, or scan it to me, or you can actually do a drop down or a save into a PDF form and type your names in and send that to me. And I do see another question. I just want to make sure. Okay. If you are doing a performance, where would you keep your props while on campus? I've seen students keep them in their room. Andrew, do you have any advice or remember where students, if there was a secondary location for props to be stored?
Yeah, there's a couple places. I do know that if you mail them to campus, you can keep them stored in the Stamp Student Union on the main floor in there where they have, I don't remember the name of that room specifically. It's on the main floor though. That's where people usually keep props and or their pieces of their exhibit or something like that. I also think it's totally fine to store it in your room or typically on the floor that has almost exclusively Iowa people in the dorm. That main lounge that will be occupied by Team Iowa is where you can also store props. Of course, there is some the benefit of keeping it in your room is it's not going to get stolen. Generally speaking, though, I haven't seen people had a problem just keeping their props stored on the floor with Iowa, just because generally it's only Iowa people and Iowa people are nice, so they're not going to hurt your stuff. But those would be probably the 3 places that you can keep them, I would suggest.
All right, so now we're going to go over the schedule for the week, and I have updated it with different Iowa activities. So you might see some matching times and locations to the public schedule that's on the national website, but there's a couple different times just because we have a couple Iowa events and Iowa meetings. So I am going to start on Sunday. However, parents and teachers, I will be on the property on Saturday. I like to fly in a day early and make sure things are ready to go with the rooms and making sure that my team is set up. So if you are there a day early and have questions or concerns for me, I'll send out my cell phone number by email. Feel free to get a hold of me or let me know if you have questions. However, on Sunday, I will be ready to go. So from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., there's registration and exhibit set up. So that is in the Stamp Student Union. And please make sure the first thing you do, whether you're a junior or a senior, if you're staying on campus, you need to go check in to registration. So if you're staying in the dorm, you will need to go to the check-in to get your dorm card. So they have scanners at each dorm to access the doors, and you will get your dorm key when you check into the dorm hall. So first thing first, when you get to campus, go to the Stamp Student Union and check in to get all your information. So at check-in, you're going to find out your judging time and your location. You're going to find out other information for the week, but you're also going to get that dorm card. And if you're coming in late or there's an issue with the flight or travel, please just feel free to give me a call on my cell phone and I can let the national office know. I will be volunteering that day, so I will actually be in the Colony Ballroom. Feel free to give me a call on my cell phone if you need me, but if you're going to check in that day, you're going to see me that afternoon. So feel free to come chat with me. At 6:30 p.m. is the welcome ceremony. So this is really the first event of the week. It's a ton of fun. I know Andrew can touch base on this. This is where we're going to wear our tie-dye t-shirts that you got at the state contest. Iowa usually meets by the dorms and we walk together. We have 2 big flags that we bring with us to the ceremony. The ceremony is outside. I would recommend bringing something to sit on. In the past, I've brought a sheet just because we're going to be sitting on grass and it gets a little sticky. So parents, teachers, feel free to bring something to sit on. It's about, I think it's about an hour and a half long. Hopefully it's shorter than that, but in the past it has been a little long. There's an introduction from the staff. They usually have a speaker, and then everyone is let go for the night. However, right after the welcome ceremony at 8 p.m., we have the Team Iowa meeting. This is the only mandatory meeting for Team Iowa. I would really appreciate everyone to be at this meeting. This is where we're going to talk about the week, mandatory phone numbers that you might need, any additional information or any changes to the week we're going to talk about in this meeting. So if you're unable to make it, please get a hold of me and I'll send you all these updates. Parents, if you're staying off campus and you're unable to come at that time, please just send me a message on my cell phone. But Andrew, do you have any advice or any suggestions for Sunday of the contest?
Yeah, definitely. I'll reiterate, definitely make sure that you go to the Stamp Student Union first, because that's where you're going to get the card that will get you into the dorm to get your key. There is a parking garage immediately adjacent to Stamp Student Union. So that's generally where you'll be able to park when you're getting there. Stamp is like in the center of campus. So just bear in mind that it'll be kind of hectic, and definitely don't plan on like just quick rushing into the student union and getting out. Like it's going to take a little bit, might take 20, 30 minutes. So just so everyone knows that, but definitely get that information, make contact with Ania, and then be patient when you get to the dorms, because there might be sometimes there's just a big influx of people coming at the same time, and it's student workers that'll give you your key. I will say, when you do get your key, the keys are very expensive to replace. I think it's like somewhere like $80 to $100, so hold on to that. And yeah, definitely come to the welcome ceremony. It's a great time for students to trade buttons, which is this big thing that happens at nationals, and also a great opportunity to bond as Team Iowa. And you definitely want to be in the group picture so people knew that you were at nationals.
Are parents welcome to join Team Iowa for the welcome ceremony, or is it only for the participants? It's for everyone. Parents are more than welcome to join. The more chaperones I love. So I would just recommend for parents, bring something to sit on, because it can be a long time and kids seem to have more energy. But I would also recommend, the grass can be a little sticky in that area, so I would just recommend, even if it's a book to sit on. All right, so let's go into Monday. Right in the morning, late registration for juniors is open at 8 a.m. That's in the same area. Exhibit setup is also during this time for juniors and seniors. Seniors, your registration will open at 8 a.m. in the same area, Stamp Student Union. Once again, please do this first. So seniors, if you're coming directly on Monday, please make sure to check in the Stamp Student Union so that you can get your dorm card. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., there are teacher professional development workshops. Teachers, if you're interested in these, please get a hold of me. There's also information on the National History Day website. I'm more than happy to send you that link. It's also in your registration. You're able to register for those in your registration for the national contest. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., there is judging for juniors. So you will receive your judging time and location when you check in and get your dorm card and all that good stuff. But we will also have a large whiteboard in our Share Iowa dorm room. So usually we just take one of the lounge areas, and I tape up all Iowa stuff so no other state takes it. But I put up a large whiteboard that we share all the judging times and locations for Iowa kids. So we want you to go and support other Iowa students. So my assistant and I are going to be updating that as much as we can. So make sure to take a look at that. And then from 5:30 to 9 p.m., seniors are going to be able to set up or continue setting up your exhibits. It's also public viewing for exhibits. So parents, if you want to go in and look at other exhibit boards, that's perfectly fine. Andrew, do you have any advice, or does anyone have any questions about this part of Monday?
Yeah, so the important thing is, for the juniors that are going to be judged on this day, make sure that you take the time that you need Sunday night to be well prepared. I definitely encourage students to do practice interview questions, either with whoever the assistant is in Vania, or sort of teachers or people that are from your school that maybe have been to nationals before. Practicing interview questions can help both with just calming your nerves, but also just kind of getting yourself back into your project, because for people like websites and papers, it might have been a little while since you've engaged with your project. I also suggest that people that are doing performances or documentaries, make sure that the time of your documentary is fine. Make sure that performances are running in time, because judges definitely aren't happy if you go over time, and so you want to keep them in as good of a mood as possible. And just make sure that you give yourself ample time to get to judging, because the campus is very expansive. It'll potentially be very hot, so you want to make sure you get there with enough time to cool down, to make sure you're not sweaty, to make sure that you can fit all of your props and whatnot into the right spaces, because rooms can sometimes be down long hallways that are narrow and oddly shaped, and so there's just a lot to prepare for. So make sure that you give yourself plenty of time when you're moving around campus. And then on Monday night, typically they post final round results for those, or they post who advanced to finals for documentary and performance categories in the Stamp Student Union. So definitely go there. I think it's usually around 7 p.m. that they post them, and support Team Iowa to see whoever hopefully advances on to the next round. But yeah, those are probably the big things I would say for Monday.
Awesome. And I'm going to continue really quick with Monday, and then I know that we have 2 questions here. All right, so just to finish up on Monday, it's kind of a big day. 7:30 to 10:30 is a teacher social. So teachers, I highly recommend you attend this. Go network, go meet other History Day teachers. It's a ton of fun. Also during that time is the student dance. So this is at the Armory. This is a ton of fun. I step into it every year. The kids seem to have a real rowdy time. Make sure to wear comfy clothes and bring your dancing shoes, but make sure to bring water. It's a very warm environment, but the kids have a ton of fun. So there's no dress code requirement for this. We had a couple schools in the past create a theme and go together. It's totally up to you. Just make sure to grab your friends and go meet other History Day kids. Go have fun. And also during that time is dorm door judging. So we have an activity. We want you to decorate your dorm door, hang out with your roommate, put some, theme decorations together. We really just want you to show your National History Day pride. And then my assistant and I, we go around to each dorm door and we have a contest. And we share the results of that contest and prizes during the Wednesday evening activity. So please, if you want to be involved in that, just please have your door decorated by 7 p.m. on Monday before you go to the dance. All right, so I just want to take a look at these 2 questions that are here. How are documentaries submitted or shown? Just bring a USB flash drive with the video file on it. Yes, I believe it's up to you how you want to bring the documentary. Andrew, can you elaborate on that? I'm not sure if they allow you to bring other computers or anything in. I think it can be USB or you can save it to a file. But Andrew, do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, so generally speaking, the documentary judging rooms will have a computer with a projector connected to it that you can put your USB in and play it on. I would suggest having your documentary on a number of formats. So have it on your USB, both as an MP3, as an MP4. I would also potentially upload it onto YouTube as just an unlisted private link so that you can just pull that up if for whatever reason your documentary just isn't playing through the USB. I don't think you need to bring it necessarily as on a DVD, as a DVD copy. But yeah, I would definitely recommend bringing it on as many formats as possible. And you'll have time right before you start judging to pull it up, get it figured out, to make sure that the sound is the right level. But yeah, so I would say, to review, have it on a USB in as many files as necessary. But then also, I think uploading it on YouTube is another just safe bet in case something goes wrong. So then that way you're prepared if the internet's not working or if the USB isn't.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. So just like the other contest that you've competed at, there will be the 5 minutes before given to each student so that they can test and prepare that documentary for judging. So next question, all categories for juniors will be judged during that time. Yes. So all 5 categories will be judged in the junior division, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Monday, June 10th. And then as Andrew said, around 7 p.m., they have a couple screens in the Stamp Student Union where they release the final round. So usually the kids kind of corral in there right before the dance. Sometimes they release it at a later or earlier time. They will notify myself and the other affiliate coordinators of when they're going to release that information. But all 5 of the junior categories will be judged from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Monday.
And I'll also say too, they don't, just so people know, they do not post who advanced to finals for categories that are not performance or documentary. So websites, papers, exhibits won't be announced.
Yes, it's not like state. So at state, we do all of them. At nationals, they just do documentary and performances so the kids can prepare. Thank you, Andrew. Tuesday, June 11th, starting at 8 a.m., late registration for seniors and exhibit setup. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., there is the second teacher professional development workshop. Once again, please let me know if you're interested. You can also sign up for those or select them in your registration. From 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., judging for seniors. So this is all the 5 categories for seniors. From 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. is the junior performance and documentary finals. So once again, we're going to update the board, the whiteboard in the Iowa Lounge, so that students who want to go see our junior performance and documentary finalists, I highly recommend it. From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the Iowa ice cream party. So once we find out which dorm we're staying in, I will let everyone know where our meeting location will be. And we're going to hang out and have some ice cream and talk about the contest and how it's been going. And then we will share who has won prizes from the dorm door decoration contest. And we usually get ice cream from the UMD Dairy ice cream. It's really delicious, fantastic. I get it every year. Andrew, do you have any advice or suggestions for Tuesday, June 11th?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything much different than the first day, other than, of course, senior division folks should also, I would recommend practicing interviews, questions, make sure you give yourself time to get to judging and that you're all prepared with your performances or documentaries. And then definitely come to the Iowa ice cream party. It'll be a great opportunity to celebrate those that potentially advanced on in performance or documentary. We'll also know at about 7 on Tuesday what senior division folks advanced to the final round in performance and documentary categories. So it's a great way just to celebrate everyone from Team Iowa and come together. So definitely come to that. And then also, of course, if you can be on campus Tuesday night, I recommend it, because if there are Iowa folks in finals for junior division performance and documentary finals, it's always great to have some Iowa representation in the crowd to support them.
All right, Wednesday, starting at 8:30 a.m., senior performance and documentary finals. Once again, please make sure to check out that whiteboard in the Iowa Lounge and come support our seniors in the performance and documentary finals. There's also public viewing for exhibits from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So if you want to get back in, check out your exhibit or check out other affiliate exhibits, feel free. From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., the National Museum of American History Exhibit Showcase. This is a partnership with National History Day. For one day during the week, there is a student from each state who gets to showcase their exhibit. And this year we have Emma, as she's going to display her exhibit board at the National Museum of American History and Exhibit Showcase. And I'm sorry I did not bring Emma's exhibit title, but please make sure to stop by sometime during the day if you're not going to attend one of the senior performances or senior performance documentary finals and you're going to be hanging out downtown. Make sure to swing by and go support Emma. Also, the big thing Wednesday afternoon is the congressional delegate visit and photo opportunity. So we try for this every year. We're still working on the time, but we always shoot for Wednesday afternoon, since we want to encourage everyone to go to the National Museum of American History Exhibit Showcase. We typically try for around 2, 3 o'clock. We meet with our congressional delegates, we have a short conversation with them, and we get a photo opportunity. So that's usually right on the steps of the Capitol South steps, I believe is where we meet usually every year. So I will update everyone on that. We're still working on a time, but please come join us in your History Day t-shirt. It's not mandatory to wear your History Day t-shirt, but I highly encourage you. We also give the congressional delegates a t-shirt, make them feel special. Andrew, do you have any advice on Wednesday afternoon, what they should be doing that afternoon? Anything like that?
Wednesday is a great time after senior division finals are done to get downtown into DC and to explore the National Mall, to maybe go to some Smithsonian history museums. There's so much to do in DC. There's amazing food. So Wednesday is really a great time to go out and do that. So yeah, I think that's my biggest thing. And then definitely come to the congressional photo. What's really valuable is a lot of times these Congress people don't see their own delegates in DC, and it's also really valuable because they are really instrumental in making sure that History Day on a national level, through the National Endowment for the Humanities and other national programs, and also at a state level, that History Day gets funding. And so all of the things like having your registration covered and National History Day support sort of writ large is dependent upon a lot of these government officials favoring these public education programs. So definitely come and support and see if you can also meet with these officials outside of our time. I know a lot of students that do that as well. They're so willing to hear about your history projects, and they're very excited to learn about what you're doing. So I'll put a plug in for that as well.
All right, we got a question. Do you know if they take 1 or 2 from each judging room to move on to finals like our state contest does? At the national level, they take one from each room. Andrew, I'm pretty sure they did that. That was a change in last year or the year before, correct? Because I don't think.
The last, I think 3 years they've done one. There's 10 judging rooms, and one from each of the judging rooms advanced to finals for a total of 10 in finals. So yeah, the top person advances on.
All right, let's move on to our last day of the contest, which would be Thursday, June 14th. So exhibit takedown can start as early as 7 a.m., but this big day is for the award ceremony. So the award ceremony is from 8:30 to noon. It's a long morning, so make sure to either bring snacks or water with you. And there is a short gathering called the Parade of States. It starts right before the award ceremony. So typically I will leave around 7:45 in the morning to walk over together to prepare for that. It varies each year. We like to at least get there about 30 minutes before, just so that we can find our spot and join that Parade of States. And we do reserve seats for the Iowa team to sit together. So I'll have it roped off by students in the front, parents and teachers in the back. And this is located at the Xfinity Center. From 12 to noon, just FYI to everyone, I'm going to be handing out certificates. So this is a new volunteer position that I'm going to be taking on this year. So I will have to leave our group for a little bit right after. But during this time, I'm going to pick up all of our comment sheets and certificates, and I will mail those to you when I get back to Iowa the week after. So just FYI, if you're not going to receive your comment sheets right after the award ceremony, I'm going to mail those out to you. And please make sure to get checked out of the residence hall, so turning in your key before 3 p.m. Andrew, do you have any suggestions about Thursday, the award ceremony day?
Yeah, award ceremony day is long, so just be ready for that. The Parade of States is really fun. Make sure you wear your tie-dye Team Iowa shirt, so that we look a very impressive mass of history scholars. And be, excited to cheer on however Iowa does regardless. It's a really fun sort of end. The Xfinity Center is really cool, and it's a great sort of way to cap out. I will say too about checkout, a lot of people check out like right before the award ceremony or right after, so just keep in mind there might be long lines, so just kind of play your cards accordingly. And also the dorm, like breakfast in the dorms will be packed the day of the award ceremony. So just keep in mind you might need to get to breakfast a little bit earlier if you want to eat quickly to get ready for the ceremony. And
really quickly, parents and teachers, if you're worried about any flights, if you have to leave before the award ceremony is over, that's completely fine. It's not mandatory to attend the entire award ceremony. I will be more than happy to mail those comment sheets or any other awards to the student once I get back to Iowa the week after. So if you're unable to attend the entire award ceremony, that's perfectly fine. We can mail you anything that's handed out afterwards. I know sometimes flights are difficult to maneuver, so more than happy to send you anything you need. And once again, I'm fully back in the office from state. If you have any other questions after this, I'm more than happy to chat privately as well.
I would also add to, just in regards to judging, I know that the national contest can seem kind of intimidating, and we're talking about judging. I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's my next slide, but you're more than welcome to, go ahead and share.
So yeah, I think that the national contest can be very intimidating because you're on campus, and I think the important thing to keep in mind is just like at state and at districts, these people are volunteering their time to interview kids from across the country about their passion for a particular history topic. And so don't forget that the judges want to be there. A lot of them are taking time off of work since judging happens on a Monday and a Tuesday, and a Wednesday. So don't get freaked out about anything that happens in judging. A lot of them are seasoned, and they do a really thorough job of training the judges to know what to look for about what time to start their timers and the types of questions to ask. And so, and then also keep in mind that, for like websites, for papers, they've looked at your projects beforehand. They know what you've done, and with the other categories, they're very attentive and they do their best to do so. So just I would say give the judges the benefit of the doubt and just be passionate and excited, because they the best part of History Day is when you get to share your topic and someone learns something new based off of your research. And so I think sort of like approaching judging as that opportunity kind of takes the pressure off of like, oh, what questions did they ask and how are they looking at me or something like that.
Beautifully put, thank you. So it looks like we got a couple questions. So first one, for the junior websites, there will be the initial judging and then nothing until award. You are correct. So there's that first initial judging time, since they do not release who will be going into the final round for websites, papers, and exhibits. Students will only find out if they advanced to finals or if they won until the award ceremony. Websites, exhibits, and papers are viewed and judged privately in the final round. Is there anyone driving to nationals that would be willing to transport some of our performance props, a small desk and a chair, or is there any furniture available for us at the contest? So all the props have to be provided by the students for their performance. However, we do have a couple Central Iowa teams going. So Susan, I'd be more than happy to get you in contact with some of our Central teachers that are driving out east, or I do know that North Scott takes a charter bus each year, and I sent out an email about that this morning. If you'd like to get in contact with Chris Green to see if they have ability to carry that desk or chair. Otherwise, I'd be happy to get you in contact with another national qualifier teacher that's closer to you. I know quite a few families do drive out. All right, feel free to submit them, but I'm gonna move forward because we got one last thing here. National contest judging. So I just wanted to dive into this a little bit. I had some questions from kids. I just want to make sure any judging questions you have, I want everybody to feel comfortable about this. At the national contest, they abide by the same rules and evaluation criteria as all levels of National History Day. So the strongest portion, that 60% historical quality, that 20% relationship to theme, and that 20% clarity of presentation, all of these need to be strong at the national level. I want you to review the judge comments from the state contest and make updates to your project. If you have any questions or concerns about your judge comments, so maybe there's a comment from a judge that you really just don't understand what they were trying to get you to change, or it's extremely confusing, or maybe it's just a curse if you can't read, feel free to send me an email or give me a call. Happy to elaborate for you and happy to give you some guidance for next steps. The judges are provided training by the national office the week of nationals. So they are properly trained by the executive directive, Kathy Gorn. And as Andrew said, a lot of them are seasoned judges. They've judged at nationals multiple times before. They're well experienced. However, if you have concerns about something that occurs in your judge room, you need to tell me or a national contest employee immediately. So just like in state, if you have any concerns or something happens, we need to know about it right away so we can confront it. It's really difficult to solve some of judging concerns or questions after the fact. So Andrew, I actually have a line on here for you. Just as since you're a past student, can you kind of share with us your experience of how you prepared your project, or what should students expect that's different from state contest judging to national contest judging?
Yeah, so the big difference, right, is that you're competing against students from across the country. And just like Iowa has a really high quality state contest, a lot of other states also have really high quality state contests. And so I do recommend that students, if the competition aspect of National History Day is important to you, that you take time to revise your project any way that best kind of both makes the historical quality stronger, right? So what are there any additional primary sources that you could bring into your bibliography that really helps complement some of your arguments? Is your theme connection really clear? Are you articulating the impact of your historical project? I do know at the national contest, when you're up against a bunch of other projects, having really strong historical impact, both short-term and long-term, in that relationship to the theme is really important. And then of course, make sure that you take the time to really clean your project up and make it very polished and clean, because a lot of other people will have very polished and clean projects. I also encourage people between now and the national contest, see what interviews you can get, both primary and secondary. That would be really cool. See if you can get recordings of those interviews to put in your website, to see if you can put them in your exhibit, to see if you can bring those interview quotations into your documentaries as video recordings or into your performances. And so this is the time now to really get down to sort of brass tacks and see what can you do to make your project as clear, precise, and as compelling as possible. So review that thesis statement, make sure it clearly sort of encompasses the main argument of your whole project. And then, of course, like make sure your annotated bibliography is very clear, very full. And yeah, and so also just like reach out. I know and Vinia has other mentors across the state that are willing to give feedback on projects. So if you do want someone to look at any of the categories, I have experience coaching all of the categories. I'm happy to give feedback, and I know others are that Vinia has contact information from. So I would say the biggest thing in preparation is just sort of making sure you're tying up all the loose ends and just sort of being kind of inventive and kind of imaginative about ways that you could possibly improve your project that gives it kind of that edge that maybe you want. So those are sort of the things. And then the fun thing that you can do is I know that DC is just full of archives and museums that might have your topic. And so I would also encourage you, once you get to nationals, try and sort of do a pilgrimage to a place that has your topic, right? So my junior year, I did Watergate. We went to the museum, which has the door that they took down. And then my senior year, I did Herb Block, and we got to meet the Herb Block Foundation for lunch. Their office is in DC, and then we got to meet this archivist who curates all of the Herb Block cartoons at the National Archives. And so that was a really cool opportunity to sort of just kind of cap off my experience, and also was really great to talk with our judges about. So yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the race to improve as much of your project as you can.
And one last time, I just want to share these deadlines. Everything is due and closed out Tuesday, May 14th, 11:59 Eastern Time. So if you have any concerns about any of the following information on this page, registration, contest fees, please get a hold of me as soon as you possibly can. All right, and I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We're very excited to go out to the national contest and to represent Iowa. I just want to see, oh, we got a question here. I think it was mentioned at the state meeting, there would be a link to discounts for area attractions. Where can this be found? On the National History Day contest page, it's called NHD Explore. So they do have different discounts and different opportunities that students can sign up for. So if you go to the National History Day contest, that registration page, on the right-hand side, there will be blue boxes, and one of them is NHD Explore for different links to different activities that NHD has worked with their different partners to put together. All right, well, I'm probably going to hang out here for a few minutes just in case anybody's got any questions. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Your expertise and advice means so much to our parents, teachers, and our students. Thank you. And to parents and teachers who are joining us tonight, and students, thank you so much. Feel free to get a hold of me if you have any questions. Okay, so you're an assistant coach, and you weren't on the email that was sent today. Okay, so I'll make sure to add you to our master spreadsheet of NHD teachers, just so any additional emails we send out you will receive, and I'll forward those to today. Okay, so you missed the first two slides. Okay, nope, that's fine. As the questions were coming in, I just couldn't see those. So really what we chatted about, Andrew just kind of gave a little touch base on his experience with the national contest, and then we went into contest registration steps and contest fees. So this is also recorded. So we're going to send out the recorded link of this entire webinar, so you'll be able to watch from the very beginning. But just FYI, registration fees will be covered by the National History Day in Iowa program, so just FYI. So I'm seeing a question about the students are having issues with their passwords for logging into the registration. I'm not sure why that would be happening. If I were you, you'll need to reach out to the national contest. Since it's their contest management system, they will be able to change up or send you the link to reset those passwords. I'm not sure why that's happening to you, but if you sent me a separate email, I can get you connected to them. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. We're going to go ahead and jump up, and we will see you guys in Maryland.